Once again on our weekly show talking about special needs, family planning, and support. I want to welcome you all to this live. I'm going to give a couple of minutes for everyone to join us here. So, if you're tuning in for the first time and we haven't yet met, my name is Aldo Venturacci and I am a special needs funding consultant. And what does that mean? It means that I help families with special needs children protect their income today and plan for the future, considering a child with special needs will have a much greater need for funds to support their long term care needs. So I want you to feel comfortable, get comfortable now, get a pen and a piece of paper because I'm going to be sharing a lot of things with you. And so, for that reason, I don't want you to miss anything. And so, just real quick here, I'm going to go ahead and send out a notification to our members of Special Needs Family Planning and Support Facebook group, just to let everyone know that we are live. And with that out of the way, once again, I want to welcome you all. Today, I plan on being here live with you for about 25 to 30 minutes, unless you guys have questions, and then I'll stay as long as I have to make sure that I get your answers, your questions answered. So, welcome again. We're going to be talking, like I said, about income protection. So, let me go ahead and share my screen here, and we'll get started in just a second. Okay. All right. Very good. So it looks like everything is working fine. Let me just make sure here that we are in fact live. And if you're watching live here with me, go ahead and type hashtag live in the comments so I know you're here and I can acknowledge you for being here with me while I'm live. If you watching the replay after tonight, then go ahead and type hashtag replay so I know that you're watching the replay. And I can also go ahead and thank you for being here with me watching the replay. All right, so it looks like everything is working fine. If you can type, okay, I see hi. So yes, so we are live. Very good. So before we begin, I'm just going to go ahead and put this disclosure out there that the information that I'm about to share with you is being provided for educational purposes only and should not be construed as insurance, securities, tax, investment, legal, medical, or financial advice or guidance. Now, some of the features or benefits that I'm going to be sharing with you here tonight may be company and or product specific and may not be available in all states. Now, before you do anything, please consult your personal independent professionals for answers to your specific questions. And that independent professional can be myself, and I'll be glad to work with you. And so, with that being said, that the legal stuff out of the way, I want to start by talking about something that's extremely important for any families, especially families that have children with special needs. And that's protecting our income. Now, I'm sure you have thought of what would happen if, for some reason, you happen to pass away too soon, and then what would happen to your family, right? And that's probably why you carry some form of life insurance, right? We all know that life insurance is extremely important to make sure that our loved ones are taken care of after we're gone. Now, that's really only one piece of the puzzle, as we're going to discover throughout tonight's live. Now, have you ever asked yourself, well, but what would happen if you got seriously sick and you couldn't work for an extended period of time? What would that look like for your family, right? So, those are the things that we're going to be talking about today, and how living benefits, which is modern life insurance you don't have to die to use, can play a very important role in your overall financial plan, and also to ensure that what you want to happen does happen, even if you're not around to see it, or even if you can't earn an income to make sure that it happens according to your plans. So before we proceed now, you have my name on the screen here. I'm a life insurance advisor. My national license number is also on the screen, and I'm currently licensed in Florida, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Nevada, and California. But if you happen to be watching from another state and you want my help, then I can certainly help you get licensed in your state, which takes very little time, just so I can work with you and answer your questions that you may have. All right. So first question I want to ask you tonight is, who needs life insurance, right? And the answer is you. Everybody needs some life insurance. So let me tell you, a few different scenarios of why you may need some life insurance. So if you have a family, a growing family, you have young children, and those children depend on you and your income, then certainly you need that protection. Or if you just purchased a home, or if you own a home with a mortgage on it, you have a lot of debt, right? So what would happen if you're no longer around? What would happen to that debt? Well, your family will still have to pay it. Will they have enough income to keep paying the mortgage? Now, if you're a small business owner, certainly you need protection, especially if you have a business partner. Yeah, think about what would happen if one of you were no longer in the picture. What would happen with the other partner? Would you have enough funds to purchase that other partner's shares in a business, or would you have to work for the widow or widower for the rest of your life, right? So small business owners. Now, if you're approaching retirement or already in retirement, you also need a way to pass wealth in a most tax efficient manner, right? And that's really one of the uses for life insurance. But tonight I'm going to focus our time together here talking about families with special needs children. Now, if you're a parent or grandparent, or if you care for a child with special needs and that child depends on you for care, then you certainly need a lot of life insurance to make sure that the child will have enough funds to go through life receiving the same level of care that they have now, even if you can't generate the income, right? So let's now dive in a little deep, and let's talk about foundation, right? Now, when you look at this, which foundation would you rather have? The one on the left or the one on the right? Now, having a strong foundation can ensure that your goals will come true. Just like when you build a home, you want to build a strong foundation. When you're building your financial home, you also need a strong foundation. Now, that being said, and I get asked all the time, Aldo, I know I need some life insurance and I have some, but which one is better? Is term life insurance better, or is permanent life insurance better? And for those of you that never heard the term permanent insurance, think things like whole life, index universal life, or fixed universal life, variable universal life. Those are all different forms or different flavors of permanent life insurance. And like the name implies, term is coverage that you have for a specific period of time, say 20 or 30 years, whereas permanent is insurance that you have for the rest of your life, no matter how long you live. So I want you to think, in easier terms. Think about renting a home, right? So term insurance is like renting a home. As long as you pay your rent every month, you get to live there and enjoy all of the benefits of the home that you're living in. Now, just like renting, term insurance offers lower premiums, which is the word that we in the industry use for payments, right? So it's lower payments. But then at the end of the contract or the term, you leave, just like you leave a home, a rental home, without any equity, right? Now, one big difference between term insurance and renting a home is that with term insurance, you can cancel it at any time without any penalties, right? So even if you have a 20-year term policy and you're 1 or 2 or 3 years into it or whatever, you can cancel it at any time. You can either call your company or just simply stop making payments. Now, I'm not advising that you do it, but it's just so you understand that you're not necessarily locked into a contract and then you have to pay for the entire term of the contract. Now, permanent life insurance, on the other hand, instead of being like renting a home, it's more like uh, purchasing a home, right? And just like when you buy a home and you have a mortgage, you own that house forever as long as you make those payments until the mortgage is paid off, right? And so with that comes extra added costs, and that's why premiums or payments on a permanent life insurance policy are typically higher than term. However, all of those premiums or a large portion of the premiums that you're paying every month are actually being set aside in a savings component inside your life insurance policy. And so you're actually building equity, right? And just like William here, I see in your comments, life insurance is the cheapest dollars you'll ever buy. Absolutely. And I love this, Will. Thank you for sharing this. You can literally buy dollars in the future for pennies today. So, yes, if you need to buy a lot of money at a discount, really the only legal way that we know that you can do that is by purchasing life insurance. So, I hope this quick explanation between term and permanent life insurance was clear enough for you. Now, if you still have questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. I'll make sure to go back and read them all before we end tonight. So now let's talk about something that everybody knows about life insurance, right? Well, if I happen to die too soon, then life insurance will pay my beneficiaries a certain amount of money, right? And that's absolutely true, right? So what you need to be asking yourself is if the unthinkable were to happen to you today, would your family be able to stay in a home, or would they have to find another place to live, maybe downsizing, or maybe even having to move in with friends or family, right? Would your children still be able to go to college, or will they have to give up on their dreams and maybe, just get a job without getting that further education? Or will your business continue to operate, or will your family have to shut it down? And ultimately, you need to ask yourself this question. After you're gone, do you want to leave a legacy to your family, or do you want to leave them a liability? So those are the questions that we ask ourselves when we're thinking about having life insurance to make sure that our loved ones are taken care of, right? And that's about what everybody knows about life insurance. And yes, every single life insurance policy works in that manner, right? And that's where most policies end. And that's probably all you know about life insurance now. If I die, or if I have term insurance, if I die during the term, or if I have permanent insurance when I die, my beneficiaries will get X amount of dollars, right? Now, what you may not know is that there are certain companies, certain life insurance companies, and certain products that offer what's called living benefits. And I'm going to talk to you about that now. But before I do, I want to share a quote from one of my mentors, Tom Hegna. Tom Hegna, if you've never heard of him, I mean, he's been in the financial services industry for decades, and he's one of the smartest, most knowledgeable individuals in the industry. And he likes to say that if every wife knew what every widow knows, there'll be a lot more life insurance in a home. Now, it also works the other way around. If every husband knew what every widower knows, there'll be a lot more life insurance in a home. And so before we move forward, I have a question here. Is it true? So I'm actually, let me put it on the screen here. William is asking, is it true that banks own a ton of permanent life insurance? Yes, it's absolutely true. Thank you for the question. In fact, after the market crash of 2008, and when the government bailed out the biggest banks in the country, because they were getting a lot of money from the government asked the banks to show them exactly where their assets were allocated. And so for the five major banks in the country, over 40% of their liquid assets, meaning cash like assets, were sitting in permanent life insurance policies. And why? Because banks know that they can trust the companies that insure their own money are going to be there to pay their money back. Really, at the end of the day, the biggest and safest financial services or financial companies in the world are life insurance companies. Certainly, some of the oldest too. And so, let's move right along. We got a lot of ground to cover, and I want to go ahead and share this with you now. Mind you, I am not sure if the audio will be good enough for you. If the audio is good when I play this, please say audio is good. That way, I know that it's working for you. And let's go ahead and watch this short video. Okay, so I'm getting feedback that the audio did not go through, and I apologize for that. I'll see if I can figure out a way to play this video after we're done here. So I'm just going to skip this part, and we're going to go straight into the meat and potatoes. Thank you, William. Thank you, Alex, for letting me know that the audio wasn't going through. Uh, so let's talk a little bit about things that can happen that can put a lot of financial stress in our lives that don't necessarily mean an premature death, right? We as Americans are actually dealing with a silent epidemic, and you may not even realize it, but some of these numbers will show you the state that our healthcare system is in today. Last year alone, we had over 1.9 million cases of cancer in this country. And those were new cases, people who never had cancer before. Now, about every 40 seconds, someone has a stroke in America. And over 800,000 Americans last year had a heart attack. Now, because of all of these health issues that are happening now, and the associated expenses with being seriously sick, Americans are finding themselves more and more in financial distress. And that's why over half of all bankruptcies are due to medical debt. Now, most of these people that had to file bankruptcy because they had a serious medical condition, actually two-thirds of them had health insurance and very good insurance. But what happens is your health insurance is great at paying doctors, hospitals, even medicine, some therapies. But you know what they don't pay? They don't pay your mortgage. They don't pay your car payment. They don't pay for your groceries, or they may not pay for a new experimental treatment that could potentially save your life. But because it's not yet FDA approved, then the health insurance may not pay. And so, if you find yourself in a situation where you're dealing with a catastrophic health event, but don't have the means to keep paying your bills because now you can't work, what would happen to you, right? So typically what happens is if we have our financial affairs in order, then typically our income is right above our expenses, right? So that's what we want to keep, those two lines. So what happens if you have a serious illness is that your income will typically go down. Maybe you're not working as much. Maybe you're not working at all. Maybe even your spouse had to cut down on their hours to assist you. And so as income goes down and expenses go up, eventually these two lines will cross. And when these two lines cross, then you start getting into debt. And that's where you don't want to be. You go into debt because now your expenses are higher than your income while you're having to deal with that health issue, right? So imagine the level of stress of not only having to deal with the serious illness, but also seeing your bills piling up, potentially putting your mortgage at risk of foreclosure and things like that. And so living benefits allow you to receive a portion of your life insurance death benefit while you're still alive. Yes, so it's life insurance you don't have to die to use. And if when you receive money while you're still alive, then you have extra income to cover those added expenses and maintain your financial health in order while you undergo treatment or while you recover from a serious illness or injury. And so I got a question here. Living benefits can be in term and whole life and universal life. Yes, yes, absolutely. So even with the inexpensive term insurance policies, you can have living benefits on your policy and no extra cost. And we will go over, exactly what it covers, coming up now in the next few slides. But before I dive into the specifics, I want you to have a picture of what would happen to you if you don't have this type of protection, and the alternative or the solution to that big problem that we have. So now that you understand the benefits of getting this, uh, living benefits really can be your safety net, right? Now, things like terminal illness, a chronic illness, a critical illness, or an injury, and also in certain companies and products, Alzheimer's, are all covered conditions that can allow you to receive money from your life insurance policy while you're still alive to help you in that time of need. And so now I'm going to dive into each one of these and kind of cover exactly how it works and what types of conditions are covered, so you have a better understanding of what it is that we're talking about. Now, before I do, if you are getting value from this, if you're learning something new, go ahead and type hashtag value in the comments wherever you're watching this, so I know that this content is benefiting you. I'd love to hear that from you. So if you're getting value, go ahead and type hashtag value. I would love that. And let's move right along. So, first thing that we're going to talk about is terminal illness. Right? What is a terminal illness? So, if a doctor writes a note stating that you have a condition that will ultimately result in a death within a certain amount of time. Now, for some insurance companies, they consider 12 months. Other companies, 24 months. I try to work with companies that have the longer period considered terminal illness. So, a terminal illness rider or feature of your life insurance, whether it's term or permanent, allows you to receive up to 100% of your death benefit while you're still alive. Now, imagine that. You don't have to wait until you die for your family to receive money. You can actually receive it before. Why would that matter? You may be asking. If I have a terminal diagnosis, why would I even care about money, right? And I'll tell you why. We have a client of our company about 20 years ago, when even fewer people knew about what we're talking about here tonight. She was a single mom with two young girls, and she was going about her life, working her job, making ends meet. And during a routine visits to her doctor, the doctor was reading, her test results and asked her to do some more testing. Test results came back, and sure enough, she had cancer. And so at the time, she had health insurance, so they went ahead and started treatment. And the treatment went on for about a year. After a year, the doctor called her back in and said, listen, we've done all we could. We used up all of your health insurance. Unfortunately, the cancer is still there. I think it's time for you to get your affairs in order. Right? As you can imagine, she was devastated. And then she started asking about, experimental treatments and things like that. And her doctor told her that there was something that was fairly new, still not approved, but they could certainly try. The only problem is that it costs a lot of money. At the time, it cost close to $200,000. And that was money she didn't have, right? And so because she didn't have the money, she just basically left her doctor's office. And on her way home, she called her insurance agent to make sure that her life insurance was still valid or in force, meaning that the policy would pay her daughters after she passed away. And her agent reminded her that her policy had living benefits. So she didn't really remember that, but her agent went ahead and filed a living benefits claim on her policy. And after a couple of weeks, she received a check for slightly over $200,000, all tax-free money. Which that's something you may or may not know, that death benefits from a life insurance company are typically income tax free. And she, by having received the money, she was able to pay for that treatment as a last resort. And just a little over 20 years later, she's still with us. Her daughters are all grown up, and she was able to beat cancer by affording that treatment that she would otherwise not be able to afford, and certainly wouldn't be here today. So talk about peace of mind, knowing that you have that kind of protection that can really save your life, even when your doctor writes on a piece of paper that you have a terminal illness. And just like the death benefit of the life insurance policy, your living benefits are also tax free. And so that's the terminal illness coverage that's available as part of living benefits. But it's not really the only situation where you can get coverage. A chronic illness, which means that you need help performing two of the six activities that you see there on your screen: bathing, eating, continence, dressing, toileting, and transferring. So if something were to happen to you and you need help, either from a device or someone to perform two of those six activities, and the doctor writes a note to that effect, then that is a trigger or a reason where you can file a claim and receive uh, a portion of your life insurance while you're still alive. Now you can pay for long-term care. Maybe you need to pay for someone to care for you, or maybe you need to buy things for the home to adapt the home for your needs. Now, those are all situations where having access to money, to tax-free money, would certainly help you out. Now, what happens if you have a heart attack or cancer, a stroke, or major organ transplant, or if you become blind in a lot of states, or end stage renal failure? So, all of these are considered critical illnesses. And if you happen to suffer from a critical illness, again, those are all triggering conditions that allow you to receive your death benefit tax free while you're still alive, to potentially cover that income gap, that time that you can now choose to not force yourself back to work and really focus on your health and getting better. And that way you'll have a quicker and more effective recovery without having to worry about all of those bills piling up. So in the event of a catastrophic illness like that, having access to potentially hundreds of thousands of tax-free dollars, do you agree that it'll make a big difference in your life? Yes or no? So that's the power of having living benefits on your policy as well. Now, critical injury. Now, not all companies offer critical injuries. As a matter of fact, the majority of life insurance companies do not offer living benefits as part of their life insurance policies at all. Some of them only offer terminal illness and a very reduced amount, and very few offer all of these benefits that I'm sharing here with you. Now, me as an insurance professional, I choose to only work with insurance companies that offer all of these living benefits. And why do I do that? Because they don't cost any more than the other kind of life insurance. So imagine you go to a car dealership and you want to buy a brand new car, and then you see your dream car with all of the bells and whistles, and then you see the same exact car without airbags, and they're both same exact price. Which one would you choose? The one with airbags or the one without? So same thing. It doesn't cost any more to have all of these added protections. The problem is very few companies actually have those living benefits included in their life insurance policy. So you need to make sure that if you don't have them on yours, that you could at least find out what it'll look like for you to have them added to your current life insurance. And I'll be more than happy to help you with that. And if you are looking for help and you just want to review the current coverage that you have, then I'll be happy to do a complimentary policy review. uh, no charge. We'll just go over and see what you have. Type hashtag help there, and I'll get in touch with you and schedule a time with you to review your coverage. Now, I want to stop here for a second because even if you don't have a child or grandchild with special needs, I'm sure at this point you've realized that having this added protection of living benefits is really, really important. But now I want to talk directly to my special needs parents and grandparents out there. You know, the members of our private Facebook group, or the other parents that I'm friends with on Facebook, or if you're just watching this, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube. Imagine having a situation like this. Imagine you're raising your child with special needs, a child that requires more than just your love and affection and all of the time that you have, but also requires a lot of money to pay for all of the things that they need to make sure that they have quality of life. Now, imagine all of a sudden something were to happen to you and you can no longer work. And now you don't have that income coming in. Life won't stop because you're not working anymore. Your bills will continue to come in every month. Your child would still require all of the help that they currently do. What would that look like for you with your child requiring special attention, having no income coming in? So, as a father to a child special needs myself, I recognize the importance of having protection in all areas of life. That's why we carry all of the protection that we can, from health insurance to car insurance to homeowners insurance or renters insurance. Heck, we even have cell phone insurance, don't we? I mean, if something were to happen to my phone, I know I can pay, a nominal fee and have the screen replaced or have my whole phone replaced. What about income insurance, right? I'm sure nobody ever talked to you about that. If you're currently working with a financial professional, have they ever asked you about income protection? Or have they ever offered to educate you on having income insurance, right? So that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to educate you, help you, open your eyes to very real problems that we have around you, but also put myself in a position to work with you and help you design the solutions that fit your need and also obviously fit your budget, because nobody needs to be put in more financial stress to have the right protection that they need. And so one last type of living benefits, and this is exclusive to only one company in the industry out of over 700 that has a specific rider or protection for Alzheimer's disease. And if you happen to have a diagnosis of Alzheimer's, then you can accelerate a great portion of your life insurance benefits as well to cover all added expenses that come with having this disease. I'm just going to skip the rest of the video here because, I was told that you guys can't hear it, and I apologize for that. So we just covered two pieces of the puzzle. What happens if you die too soon and you leave your family unprotected? And what would happen if you become seriously ill and you need some extra income while you're not working, right? Now, the third piece of the puzzle, we're going to talk briefly about retirement, right? Why am I even talking about retirement when we're talking about life insurance, right? Yes, because life insurance can be a very powerful tool in your financial plan to provide for added income in retirement that's all tax free, and also that can double as long-term care even for you as you go into retirement age. Because what nobody wants to happen is we save all of those monies for retirement in your retirement accounts, only to find ourselves in a situation where we need long-term care, and then we burn through our savings within a few short years. And then what happens then? Now we don't have any money. We still need long-term care, and we're in retirement, not earning an income. And we're still raising a child, now an adult, with special needs. So the risks involved in retirement are much greater than when we're younger, because our income will not necessarily be the same. And so, thinking about retirement and how we can protect our assets, but not only that, how we can guarantee a tax free income stream that we cannot outlive, certainly is a way to have peace of mind and allow us to really go through life without the added stress of not having any income. Now, over half of Americans don't have enough money saved to retire comfortably, which means that many Americans will have to continue working well into their retirement years. And if you're expecting Social Security to cover all of your bills, the average Social Security check in this country is $1,800 a month. I mean, I don't know where you live, but where I live, $1,800, doesn't get us very far. Now, with over 70% of Americans needing some form of long-term care after they reach the age of 65, I'm sure you can see how, something like that could potentially completely destroy your retirement plan. So again, having that protection in retirement is crucial, and it can save and protect your retirement accounts, like your 401k or IRA that you have. You can preserve those accounts by having protection from your insurance, life insurance policy. So, and by doing that, you can supplement your retirement income for things like, paying down or paying off debt, long-term care, which we just covered, maybe your living expenses, your regular bills, or maybe even have an extra stream of income for those things that you don't really need to do, but want to do, like traveling with the family, getting to know the world. Because after all, I mean, what's the point in working our entire lives if we're not going to enjoy the fruits of our labor, right? So living too long is a third piece of the puzzle where life insurance can play a very important role. And so now, if planning for the future is living your puzzle, I just want to recap the puzzle that I just helped you solve now. If you happen to die too soon, your life insurance will be there to pay your family money that they can use to keep paying the bills and not having to completely change their lifestyle over time. Now, the second piece is if you become ill. We just covered all of those living benefits that will make sure that your income doesn't stop, even if you stop working. And then finally, if you live too long. If you happen to live too long, you're going to need more money. The longer you live, the more money you'll need. And certainly life insurance with living benefits also play a very important role there. So for protection for what you value after you're gone, your family, a source of funds in the event of a qualifying illness, or a source of more cash for retirement, all of those three things can be accomplished with life insurance with living benefits. And I will love to have an opportunity to sit down with you, either in person if you're here in South Florida, or virtually over Zoom if you live anywhere else in the country, and do a policy review. Now, what's a policy review? Well, we'll sit down, go over the life insurance policies that you currently have now. First, make sure that they're still valid, right? That they haven't lapsed or that they weren't canceled. But then really figure out if the coverage that you have now is still in line with your needs. Our lives change every year. And so that's what we're going to do. But also, and more importantly, we're going to see if your coverage, if you have living benefits as part of your coverage plan. Now, if you don't have it and you want me to help you figure out how much it'll be, then I'll be happy to do that with you. But by sitting with you and just going your coverage, I'll be able to tell you, hey, you have great coverage. This coverage is enough for you, or you have living benefits, or you don't. And so, and especially now, again, as we wrap things up here. And by the way, if you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments. I'll go through the comments one more time before we call it a night. But I want to leave here with a message for special needs parents and grandparents out there. Now, whether your child is currently receiving government benefits and services today, or if you believe that they may be eligible to receive those services in the future, it is extremely, extremely important that you consider who's the beneficiary of not only your life insurance policy that you may have today, but also all of your other assets, including your home, your bank accounts, your 401k, your IRA, or any other assets that you own. Because as estate planning attorney Ashley McKenzie, who I work with inside of our private Facebook group, and we help clients with comprehensive estate and financial planning. As she normally says, if you don't have an estate plan, then the state where you live has one for you, and you're not going to like it, right? And so, why am I saying that? Because I hear and see cases on a daily basis of parents and grandparents that did the best that they could with the best of intentions and left assets directly to their children with special needs, which ended up resulting in them losing either permanently or temporarily their government benefits and services, their health care, their health benefits, or even their Social Security supplemental income was cut off because they receive assets directly. So there is a way to protect the benefits while at the same time accumulating assets for your special needs child. And if you have questions, if you're even more confused now than you were at the beginning of this live, then I invite you to let me know in the comments below, or just reach out to me directly. I'll be happy to go a little deeper and explain to you exactly what it is that we can do today to make sure that your child will never be disqualified of those services because of how much in assets they own. So with that being said, I'm going to just go over real quick here through the comments, see if I didn't catch any questions. So Liam says here, peace of mind is powerful when you need it most. Absolutely, Liam. I mean, at the worst time of our lives, we want to make sure that the last thing that we need to worry about is money, right? Because we'll have enough to be sad and concerned about. Money really shouldn't be one of those, and it doesn't have to be. And it costs very little to have that peace of mind, whether through the living benefits, so you can take care of your own health, or through a death benefit to your family in case you pass away. So absolutely, thank you for that. All right, folks, that's what I had to share with you today. I hope you found this valuable. And again, if you're watching this later, if you're not here live and you're watching this later, go ahead and let me know. Type hashtag replay here. Let me know if you need help with anything, if you have any questions, or if you want to schedule a complimentary life insurance review. I'll be happy to do that with you. It only takes about 25 or 30 minutes. Anything over 30 minutes will be on you. I only need that amount of time to make sure that you are currently protected in the best way that your family needs. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you next Wednesday on another episode of our show. And next Wednesday, I will have a very, very special guest sharing something that many special needs parents don't know exists. And she'll be sharing a lot of cool stuff. So stay tuned. Follow me. Make sure to check out the posts next Wednesday. As usual, we'll be here live with you. For now, thanks again. I really like spending time with you guys. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon.